Welcome to Swag, some wisdom and gear from college admission leaders. Today we are joined by Chris Gruber, who is the Vice President and Dean of Admission and Financial Aid at Davidson College. Welcome, Chris.
Nice to be with you. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. I want to start by giving you an opportunity to share your elevator pitch and why students should consider Davidson College.
Yeah, well, thank you. Davidson, we're a college of 2,000 students. We're located in a small, yet what I think is a pretty dynamic village of Davidson, North Carolina. So we're about 20 miles north of Charlotte, North Carolina. Our students come from around this country, around the world. So we're at 47 states, 47 countries. And I think one of the things that, as I think about Davidson as a liberal arts college, we look like a New England liberal arts college, yet here we are located in the South. But I also think there are some other things that distinguish us as well in interesting ways. One is that we're a Division I school. So for an NCAA sports, Division I, we participate in 21 men's and women's varsity sports, and about 1 in 4 of our students happens to be a varsity athlete. We have this strong commitment to stating to students, we want you, we encourage you to study abroad, and we make it easy for them to do so. So essentially, we never have a junior class at Davidson College. They are away, and at time of graduation, typically 80% of our students will have had an abroad experience. We believe, and I say this as a college, that the greatest opportunity for learning and personal growth comes from students that are surrounded by scholars that teach, that mentor, that push and serve as guide in a student's path and their studies. And having those students surrounded by other students that are going to bring different perspectives, experiences, goals, and beliefs. As a result of that, I was thrilled that early in my tenure, Davidson created what was known as the Davidson Trust. And the Davidson Trust, we became the first national liberal arts college in this country to eliminate loans from financial aid packages and meeting 100% of demonstrated calculated need through a combination of grants and employment. And that was a game changer for the college. And it helped us to realize that goal of bringing the students we truly most wanted to the college. 31 majors, 40 different minors, 15 different interdisciplinary minors, 5 professional programs, 850 courses a year, a 9-to-1 student faculty ratio, average class size of 15. And, let me close, Ren, by just sharing what I love and what guides us in everything that we do is the college's statement of purpose. And it reads that the primary purpose of Davidson College is to assist students in developing humane instincts and disciplined and creative minds for lives of leadership and service. And I love that because I think it just serves as that North Star for any type of decision that we're looking to make.
That's great. Yeah, what's not to love about that?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. And you gave some great numbers there in terms of kind of programs and things. What's one unique program that you would highlight at Davidson?
Yeah, we've had this rebirth of a humanities program to the wonderful credit of our faculty in the last number of years. It's allowing about 75 students to come in, and throughout their first year, they're taking a series of 2 classes. Those 2 classes over time, when they complete both, count towards 2 different types of requirements on campus. One is a writing requirement. The other is what we call ways of knowing. So this collaborative team-taught program is, I think, a beautiful way for students to understand and appreciate the wide variety of texts, including music and novels and painting and art and poetry and theater, and understand that intersection and how they can influence and how they're all related, but so very, very different. So I love what they've done. They change the theme on a yearly basis. The composition of faculty changes. It's an intensive program where students are meeting 3 times per week for 75 minutes, but there are also other excursions that they're taking. There's an early orientation program that they have, and it's been beautifully received. So it'd fallen out of favor for a period of time, but it's really come back beautifully with students being very, very excited about it. And I don't think it's just to check the boxes of requirements. I think it's of what they're doing and the way the faculty have just been so excited about bringing this program back for students.
Yeah, sounds like kind of the true liberal arts experience.
It is, which is what I love to see. And it just crosses so many lines. It doesn't fit into that one singular box.
That's great. What about one fun tradition at Davidson?
Yeah, I think there, you're narrowing me to one. I think there are a number. I think the one that is kind of fun and it's going to be taking place next week, it's something called the cake race. It dates back to 1930. And at the time, it was kind of a veiled event to help the men's, I should say, track team find some hidden talent because they had not recruited very, very well at the time. So they brought students out and they said, we want you to run around campus. It is a race and we want to see how you do. And at the end of the race, all of the folks from the staff, the faculty, and the local town, Davidson, had baked cakes for the students. The order in which they finished determines you picked your cake in that order. So they developed some good talent and they had a very, very good year back in 1930 as a result. But we have held that tradition. So there's those races will take place for first year new students next week. It is still a big event, less of a recruiting event today though for the track team.
But I imagine they kind of keep their eye out just the same.
If there was somebody there, I'm sure there's a coach somewhere nearby that is scouting that out. You bet.
What about your favorite spot on campus?
Yeah, there's a lot of caffeine in my life. There's an awful lot. So there's a local coffee shop on campus that is run by our local coffee shop that is here in town. And it's called The Outpost. And it's right in the middle of a highly social area on campus, but it's a great morning spot, afternoon spot. Great to have meetings in there, catch students there. It's an evening spot for students, so it serves different beverages later in the day, but it just has a great vibe to it. And it's a spot I enjoy being in.
That's cool. I bet they know your order pretty down pat.
You got to change it up on them. You got to change it up. Yeah, but otherwise I'm just a drip coffee kind of guy. I'm not a high maintenance coffee drinker. I don't know how I'd learned to order that way, to be honest.
Right. So let's kind of zoom out a bit and on college admission in general. And I'd love to hear what you think is kind of the greatest myth of college admission.
Singular?
Yeah.
One myth? Just
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any just one. I think there are a number, and I know you've talked about some of these different myths and some of the good work that you have done. I think the one is going to be that more is better. I'll pick something that's maybe off the beaten path, and that is that you have to do all these different things in order to be this vibrant student that a college or university is going to want. And I disagree with that. You don't have to have founded a club. You don't have to have created your own nonprofit. You don't have to have cured some type of an ailment. You don't have to have saved all the turtles in the Galapagos Islands and done all those things. I want students to focus on the things that are meaningful to them. And that can be very, very different depending on the background that a student is coming from. So, if we were to jump very, very quickly, two of my kids, or three of my kids, I should say, at one point worked for Life is Good. And they have that catchphrase of do what you like what you do. That's it. Don't do it for the transactional purpose, and more is not better.
I love that. We should make that the official motto of the college admission experience.
That's up to you. You've got the greater connections than I do. You can do that.
What about one truth about admission?
I would want students to remember that I don't think that this is a judgment on a student's worth. It's not. It is, when I think about the admission process, it is a decision that is being made with lots of things being taken into consideration. It is looking at the student, but it's not looking at any one student in isolation. It's looking at them with a large number of other students and also considering the priority. So in terms of that truth, I would hope that students keep in mind, this isn't my report card on a student as a son or daughter up to this point in life, and I have failed by way of, I failed or I've succeeded by way of a decision that I have received. I think most students are going to be pretty darn happy at a vast number of colleges that they could be going to. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's great. You talked earlier about the Davidson Trust and the history behind that. Obviously, affordability and access is an important issue in many students' lives. What would be an important thing students should know about affordability and access?
Yeah, I think that colleges and universities are really working hard in order to help find students, families, and their caregivers find ways to make that experience affordable. So their focus can be on the experience that they should be having over these 4 years and how that will ultimately shape a lifetime. I think spend some time on it and spend some time early on understanding those nuances. I think some colleges are very, very good in being very transparent about this is what you're going to find. And this is something that you can count on year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. I think that if you have a trusted and valued counselor that you can be working with, work with them to understand the different questions, ask them what they are knowing about, and students that have gone to those places as it relates to financial aid packages and scholarships, have them learn about what changes could be coming about in future years as well, because that's where a large number of those unanticipated costs can come about. So as it relates to that affordability, I want students, you can't do too much homework on that. Hit the web page, talk to financial aid officers, talk to admission officers, talk to trusted confidants that you've got at your school or mentors to say, am I doing this the right way? As it relates to access, I think that tells you about the type of students that this college or university is looking to surround you with. What are their commitments to that? How is that being understood? What are things that you can really put your arms around? Is it a school that is working with QuestBridge, with Posse, with a large number of community-based organizations that perhaps could have a different shaping to the type of students that a student might be around over a 4-year period of time? How are they looking to promote that type of inclusivity? And I think those are questions that can and should be asked.
Yep. Yeah. Know your resources and know what's quality and what's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Last question.
Okay.
What is the best question a student should ask on a campus tour, and what would be your answer for Davidson?
Yeah. I think a lot of students are spending, I'm going to back into your answer. Or into your question here, but I think a lot of students, when they're looking at colleges and universities, they spend a lot of time thinking about attributes of place. I'm looking for a place with this program. I'm looking for a place with this location. I want to be able to have this club or activity. And once all of that is done, you really need to focus on who are the people you're going to be spending your experience with. So the concept of, tell me about the students I'm going to find on this campus and how would you best describe these students? Tell me about, some of your closest friends to the tour guide. Tell me about people that you find in your class and how do you describe them? And Brennan, if I were describing a Davidson student, what we have found is they are smart, they are kind, they are driven. They are competitive in the sense that they want to achieve, they want to be able to do good things, but they're not cutthroat. They're willing to help those students around them, and they take great joy in seeing their friends succeed as well. So there's a Davidsonian.
Yeah, it's a great question to ask, and for students to reflect on kind of who their people are and who they want to be surrounded by. That's great. Yeah. Well, that is the wisdom. Now it's time for the gear. Let's reach into the swag bag and see what you have for us. All right, got some Davidson decals.
There we go. There we go. Complete with the Wildcat.
Oh yeah, there it is. And the seal, that's quite a sword on the seal there.
Yeah.
All right, Davidson banner.
Got to have the pennant.
Great Davidson pennant for your wall. And the Davidson True notebook. Nice.
You can take all your notes on schools and be ready
for that humanities class freshman year.
Perfect. You will fill that book and more. We'll send you another one.
That is wonderful. Well, Davidson has been gracious enough to donate this to an organization promoting access and equity in college admission. So we're very thankful for that, Chris, and thank you for the wisdom and the gear. And we'll see you next time on the College Guidance Network.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Brennan.